Good afternoon and good evening and hello to those on the GDQ staff who are watching this. My name is Dathis. I'm recording a Final Fantasy IV free enterprise randomizer seed for what's called Supermarket Sweep that I'm going to be doing a race with Oscar424 with. My name is Dathis again. As I said, you can find me on Twitch TV/Dathis, where I run games like this as often as I possibly can. This randomizer is based off of, again, the Final Fantasy IV for the Super Nintendo. It is a randomizer that you will have the ability to, as you see, have name incentives. There are going to be music incentives. You can change the way the final boss looks. There's a number of different things we can customize and tailor based upon what we're looking for. This is just my submission video for this, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts as I go through the seed and talk about just some of the different things. There's going to be, again, a fair amount of time for donations, as you'll see, as well as the option to talk about some things that are tech-based and some things that are just fun and shenanigans. I hope you guys enjoy the ride, and we are going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. So the first thing you start off here is you start off with the airship, the Enterprise. So the entirety of the overworld is given to you. You start with two characters. The one on the left is Rydia. The one on the right is Cecil. Great characters to start with. We get our first key item, which is a Luca key. Not a bad check to start with. All said and done, we have good times. As I said, this is a randomizer, so a whole bunch of things are going to be randomized. Right off the hop, we're going to have the ability to kind of go wherever we want. The nice thing is with this opening area and with the way we start our looting and everything, you're kind of just going to be doing whatever we want. We want to look for characters, we want to look for items that are going to be very beneficial for us, and yeah, this seed hopefully will not take too long. First thing we're looking for, as I mentioned, with characters, with something called Supermarket Sweep, all the shops are free. So everything you see here, we can see you can buy whatever we want. If there's anything that's really nice to have, I'll take those. We kind of look for opening items. We're looking for characters, and then there's I'll take all of these. Actually, yeah, but there is going to be ample opportunity in the start of the run, especially if we have co-couch commentators, where we can just take characters or talk about the difference of the randomizers, talk about the community that we're part of, or just talk about some other donation incentives. As I mentioned, there's a few things that we really randomize, one of which being the sprite of the end boss Zeromus. It can be customized to whatever the tournament looks like. It can be customized to a specific bid war. It's pretty much up to whatever we'd like to have. And the ability of what you can have on that is kind of limited to just what some people have for the skills of our art dev. For example, Skullakitty, who's done most of the sprites, especially the one that you will see today, most likely. Why did I buy another stack of hourglasses? Yeah, you even see that the color palettes of our characters are randomized, so there's nothing that is untouched, and this is just a good a good visual game. The seed is now completely empty, or completely free. That is adamant armor. The adamant armor, what it does is it makes it so that your characters have the highest defense that they possibly can, resist all elements. It's just an armor that takes your characters and goes, hey, I heard you didn't want to die. Congratulations, that's not happening anymore. Yeah, as we're going through the objectives that we have here, it's we have to go and we have to find specific key items, and we have to make sure, and we have to do those to finish the seed. The key items that we have here are required are going to be the twin harp. We have memes where we talk about characters that start in their vanilla location. This would be one of them. Edward is in a place where he normally always is. So there's little fun things and interactions with chat when we come to stuff like that, or if chat wants to guess where certain bosses are. Again, it's just little things that will that can bring on those kind of interactions. The opening part here is honestly as varied as it is. It's very storied and it's very straightforward. Oh, I did not save after changing. Yeah, so the nice thing is, as we see here, the big thing is with Supermarket Sweep, what it does is it makes everything free. My main goal is I'm looking for really nice things to throw with a character named Edge. That is not Edge, so we are not going to talk about them. We're just going to leave that alone. There's certain bosses and things that will be unrequired, such as that character up there, as well as the boss there. That is Asura. She doesn't gate anything, doesn't really give anything that's worthwhile, so it's kind of one of those, hey, we don't need to be here. Tella, I don't really care about. Maybe I'll come back for him later. Yeah, with the way things are going, my first stop is going to be Ordeals, where we turn these two Cecils that are here from Dark Knights, which are kind of okay, into Paladins, which means that they go through a bit of a glow up. So that's a nice little fun thing. Yep, well, I changed what I was going to do character-wise. We were going to have just 3 beatdowns, but now we're just going to go that. There's certain J items or items that were only available in the Japanese version that when you buy them, they kind of break the game. I don't know why I bought those heroin robes, but we're here now. But yeah, the opening routing of this game is going to have a lot of options. As you see, there's a solid 6 or so minutes where we can even just, you can add in donations, you can talk about other incentives that are coming up, you can even plug more about the marathon or where our current states are, and that's just what we need to be, what we could offer here. There's the talks of if we have Asuka and I specifically on comms, we could have some little rivalry, but we most likely would have a comms team with us so that they can be filling in what we are mainly going about and running, and what sort of things to expect. They, again, generally you have like, this is a lot of power that we have here. Sid's a great character in the sense that he has a bucket of HP, and you kind of just say, hey, can you continue to be that bucket of HP while we go through some bosses? The main thing here is there's talks where we can talk about, oh, I could have used those lit arrows. Yeah, this is where we really want to get through. Yep. Again, the opening spot is while we're running around, kind of checking off the overworld. We do these fights. We try and go to... what we're doing is we're jumping ahead into where we normally would be in the game. We're trying to make Cecil a paladin so that he can pretend to do some work. And then you get fights like this that are just what we call free, where it's an enemy that just won't do anything or won't do any damage, and we get to kind of sit here and get some dialogue. So at this point, we could be like, hey, let's talk about some donations, or talk about why this boss is called free. And yeah, make sure you stay hydrated with your people. But we're just kind of waiting for these enemies to take their turns, and we could just speed things up. Which I might just do because this takes forever. Yeah, this is the point where we're starting to get some levels under our belt. We can now start doing some checks that would normally not be able to do. We still are looking for our way underground because right now we only have what's called the overworld, or the area we start on. There are 3 different areas we need to get to: the underground, the overworld, and the underground and the moon. There's 2 different areas. Yeah, so what we're doing here is, as I mentioned, Cecil's about to become a paladin, and we're about to get a key item check. That is a very good key item. That gives us access to the moon and access to the bosses therein. I just realized we have Odin. We saw Asura. That's the Magus Sisters. Leviathan is another boss that we saw. Yeah, what we're really looking for right now is we're kind of looking for 3 more key items. The Twin Harp, which gives us our objective 1. The Baron Castle key, which would give us objective 2. And the Hook and the Pinktail, which gives us objective number 3. Yeah, we're just looking for any ability to give us access to those. With our Cecils becoming paladins, they are both the most useful and right now the most useless. I'm needing some weapons for them because they are not going to be doing any damage with just their bare items. So at this point, I also need to notice what the flags are. I'm given a free key item right off the beginning, as well as all my characters are free. So I'm looking for the ability to equip these Cecils and to start finding different items to, turn them from the average players that they are to the powerhouses that I know that they can be when you give them something like the Excalibur or the Crystal Sword or none of this. And that's the joy about this. You could see some characters that are normally not very powerful, and you can turn them into powerhouses. Or you can get characters that are normally very powerful, and you have them kind of sit there and looking pretty the entire time. Right now, these Cecils are kind of doing the latter. They're just sitting around, and they're like, hey, by the way, we can do damage too. I haven't found any bows for them yet, so I can't really say, hey, let's just put 99 of these bows on and have them go damage. There are a couple of other places I can check, which I might go do that before. Thanks, Edward. So with the way the key items are shaking out, that kind of leads me to one of 2 places now. I am very limited to where I can go. I have Baron Castle or Baron Inn, which is right outside the castle that's required. Or I have what's known as the Full Defense, where I go and protect 5 different fights, normally in the vanilla game. Oh yeah, you're an option. Again, I'm basically just looking for better weapons or a bow. this point, we take that because it is literally the best bow I can find. Actually, so this is part of another thing that you don't really want to see a whole often. You don't want to watch yeah, right now I'm kind of just like really needing to find a way so that I can get through some of these boss fights. The power gap of my characters is very disparaging. Again, I'm looking at characters that can kind of do some work. Yeah, so the Drain Sword's not a good idea. Let's check the item shop. Maybe I'll find something nicer. Tiara's not bad, but I'm kind of okay with my adamant armors and everything else. So those sirens mean that when I go to get some experience, I'm kind of set. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm just going to get what's necessary and kind of go. Again, what I'm really looking for here is just my way underground so I can open up some more areas. And this is where we would be talking about when Asuka and I are racing back and forth, like who would be possibly in a lead. It's more of a theoretical at this point because we're still looking for things that are required, and there's something very nice. Okay, that's an edge. So long, Edward. Ooh, Lunar Sparkle. This is always a fun one. We're trying to figure out what kind of boss we're going to be dealing with. But yeah, this is now where we start getting Earth Crystal. Normally also this is another check I'm kind of okay with because it allows me to get more characters, and I can kind of just take this edge and kind of run away with the seed now. I've got a whole bunch of items I can go back and grab and make him go from like a very medium character to just super overpowered. Because he comes equipped with a command called Dart, meaning I can throw whatever I want, and it just does a heap and heck of damage. Specifically, the darts I'm going to be looking for that I know I can find are what's called White Spears. They are in the Troya weapon shop. Sorry, yeah, the Troya weapon shop. They are just going to be purchased, and he's going to throw one thing and one thing only until I find myself some Excaliburs. Because right now, Edge is basically just going to look at enemies and say, "Hi, I need you to please leave." Yeah, now I'm literally looking for one thing and one thing only. As I said, I'm looking for the weapon Excalibur, so I can just make shorter work of the seed between the Cecils and between Edge now. The only other thing that I would swap would be if up here in the Tower of Zot, where I find one more key item and two bosses. I'm basically just looking for the ability to, again, get underground, or I'm looking for the option to find some more characters, because as I said, more edges are wonderful. Then again, the nice thing about Free Enterprise itself is that this is a randomizer that lends itself very well to whatever kind of a difficulty curve you want. These are kind of higher tier flags. What this also does is it shows that it's like, hey, you can make this as hard or difficult as you want, in the sense that we have the option to increase this difficulty, we can lower the difficulty, we can add some other shenanigans. This is a boss you're okay with seeing here, because it's just going to be... In theory, I shouldn't be doing this, but we're here now. Because this spot has 9,000 HP, and I've done about 2, 3, 5. It should be dead. This boss should be done soon. Yeah. Dark Knight Cecil does a lot of damage if he's in the right spot. That Dark Wave is based off of HP and can be very scary if it gets out of control. I could have just let him do his thing, but he then speaks about justice or something. But we're not here for justice, we're here to go fast. That is Porum. That's another white mage who could replace Rosa if I really wanted to. But Rosa being the superior white mage, we're going to keep her instead. And we actually have a pair of Porums. There's a Porums in a pear tree, and we are just not going to be here for them, unfortunately. That is a possible cavalcade of white mages, which normally would make me very happy, but you're not really going to need them with this flag set. Baigen's another one of those bosses that you put him in the wrong spot and he's just not fun to deal with. So what's really funny is these Cecils learning exit at the same time that Rosa... This is part of the story where Rosa also learns it, which is kind of funny. Rosa and Cecil are known as the power couple, because they kind of work together and do their own thing later on, where they can have Rosa heal, and then Cecil kind of just hurts things until they go away. Even with kind of like mid-tier gear, he can do the same thing. That's technically also a vanilla item, so it's kind of even funnier for me. I'm a big fan of vanilla, as you see by the little icon by my face. The vanilla again, is just like rolling items where they should be, or rolling bosses where they should be. I've rolled a lot of it throughout my time, so I've kind of like become the kind of become known for the meme of, hey, if it's vanilla, you blame Dathis. So I've kind of leaned into it, as you see me right there with starry-eyed looking ice cream. I actually even have myself one of the sprites that Zeromes can turn into. I actually have myself with one of them. It is a Zeromus in a bowl of vanilla ice cream with a little mint leaf on it. So it's, again, just little fun things like that that we like doing here. Another incentive that I kind of touched on a little bit, and I guess I'll talk a little bit more about, is the option of the Twin Harp, this Cave Magnus check. The reason why we have it so that we will always be doing Cave Magnus is that we want to provide, you know, a little bit of memes and a little bit of fun for the community. Now, what some of the fun is choosing specifically to go and do music, which can be done from pop culture, it can be from other video games, it can't be Game of Thrones because that's not allowed. Ooh, these weapon shops are not being nice. Just in case. But yeah, we're really just kind of banking on kind of hitting the big sword lottery, which is what I'm going to be doing when I go over here. Yeah, there's several checks that we'd be doing, or several locations we go for key items. There are the main ones, which are a lot of the overworld checks we have at the options of doing, and there we go. The seed is now officially over. Cecil can now... we like to make the joke that Cecil goes burr. A Cecil with an Excalibur will do a lot of damage, as you're going to be seeing. And then additionally, not only will he be doing a lot of damage, but this edge is going to be taking these Excals and just running away with the seed now. Let's go here, there, everywhere. Can I get some? I don't know why I bought that. But yeah, I was going to leave Dwarf Castle alone and do this check later. Also, the NPCs in this game, they really like to block you, so that's kind of a fun thing we do. I didn't even see what that one was. That's interesting. I don't know what boss it is that you can't see here. I just realized I was muted the last little bit. I apologize. My mic's been having some possible issues. Wyvern, the boss I just fought, he's very spooky in a lot of places. The simple fact being that if he can get off his opening Mega Nuke, which he normally has, then he I do not have the warp glitch on. Okay. He can do a lot of damage to your team when you're not ready for it. So that's half of an objective right there. I'm kind of okay with doing this, and glad I did. This is still kind of pushing me towards needing to do some different other checks, but the big check I need to do right now is I'm going to get crack some eggs, and this would be a time where we would talk about the options of any donations, because this is not something that we need to really pay attention to. This is where I'm just going to grab some experience so I can make some of these checks a little easier. What I really want is just like a good infusion of some experience, so these Cecils can know some of their higher tier or some more HP. I'm I guess I'll only do like 2 sirens right now. This is what's called cracking eggs, where you fight. Yeah, by the way, an egg just snuck up on my party. Yeah, what I'm really looking for is, or really wanting to do is just make the next couple of checks really easy. I'm going to be going down to the Fey March, which is one of the hardest locations in the underground. I'm looking for the one free key item that we have here. Also, we do have the accessibility options where we can turn off the flashes, where anything we walk over can go away. So this is a very accessibility friendly game. New features are being added all the time, so if you ever think of anything, we also welcome feedback on Discord. But yeah, this is just now where we start really powering through a lot of checks, and we're going to be looking for what I'm really wanting here. Obviously I want a key item that's required, but like a pant, and that's a required key item. That allows me to do Cave Magnus, which is the first objective, and which is also the option to just kind of go through the rest of the seed. Also, that chocobo is a choco butt. You may see me still looking at some shops. There's a couple of items that are very nice to find, one of which is called Bacchus Wines, which I'm looking to try and get some so the characters can drink and gain Berserk status automatically. These are very free fights, so I am just going to take them. I bought coffins, I think, yes. Either way. So these fights are free in the aspect of we just do this. Hourglass 3. Coffin. Yeah. So the again, the adamant armor makes it so that those things hit way less harder than what they would be. My characters would have been all one shot. Yeah, and one thing that I'm doing right here is called the light glitch. What it is enemies are revived with vitality times, or enemy characters revived with vitality times 5. And because there is no vitality on enemies, what it does is it revives them and then immediately kills them again, so I get bonus experience like I killed them twice. And now the moment of truth. Was that worth it? Technically not. But yeah, now we have another boss right beside it. That's the same kind of thing. These are free fights in the sense that they are bosses that do not have what's called the boss bit, meaning that they are not immune to stop, they are not immune to instant death effects, and you're just kind of going to look at them and say, hey, you guys need to get out of my house. Again, quick coffin, knock them out, and we can kind of just go about the rest of these fights. But the nice thing is I now no longer have to worry about coming down here again. This was a one, done, and gone. I'm hoping, again, for a pan or a tower key here. There's a couple of different checks that I want to do while I'm in this area. This is not required. So unfortunately, these checks were not anything that were worthwhile, meaning that I now have to go and do... There's a couple of different options. I could go do what's known as the top of tower, where it has a boss that has a lot of HP. There's the option where it has something that's good for me. I could go do Luca Cave. That one's more of a gamble. But either way, you're looking at the big options of what is the thing that makes most logic sense to you. And that's what I love about this randomizer. Nothing is very like, hey, it's cut and dry, like this is the best call. It's just the best information, the best call you have with the information you have at hand. To me, Luca Cave is actually probably the smartest play here, because it's something that is out of the way, something that's unnecessary, and it's just saying it's calling to me sort of thing. It's one of those, you shouldn't be required, or I shouldn't have to go to you, but it's just calling my name. I could go check the weapon and armor shops for the possibility of some other fun items, but I've kind of got everything I need to finish off this seed right now. So this is probably the least scary boss in the game. This is called Water Hag, where Anna, this character here, will talk to Edward and say, hey, three different phrases. And yeah, normally what could be a very scary boss location or early game is turned into nothing. We hit 3 times. It has much less than 3,000 HP. It's a boss that you look at and go, you could be very annoying, but probably is not going to be. So with the key items that I have and with the options open to me, my next step is going to be do my first objective. And see, that's what's called being punished for trying to do things in a specific order. The pan check is the other half of what I'm doing here with the guy that was in the bed, Yang. What he does is he opens up another key item. This would be where the vanilla pan is, so it being next door is very ironic. Although the Baron key now makes me really want to just do Cave Magnus and Baron Castle, because the only thing I'm now looking for is the pink tail. Again, the worst part that I'm looking for here is a the worst thing that could be in any one of these is literally nothing, and it could mean that I have to go to some places on the moon or one specific place on the moon, and it could possibly have it. But aside from that, I am looking for one of two specific. I have 3 spots that this pink tail could be. One could be in 2 could be in Baron. One could be at the top of the Tower of Babel, which is in that underground area that I've left alone. And the third one could be in the Luca Cave. So some combination of that is going to help me get towards the rest of my key items here. And as you can see by my tracker, I have 7. I've got 7 items now. So, actually 8. I forgot about my pan. So I've got the other half of the Sheila check, which means what I do is I take that pan and I turn it into Yang, as Yang's wife, Sheila. And that gives me another key item, and another possibility at something that will either add up to a chain or something that will just be a good time, you know, in general. So the nice thing is, this cutscene, because everyone's wearing crystal armor, this is one of the things I was talking about we randomized. This is the Edward saving everybody scene, and this music, I'll show you what it is, but it's randomized and generally done really well by some of our wonderful music devs, but I'll be quiet. So, Din's Dance from Oracle of Seasons Legend of Zelda is done by one of our wonderful composers. As I said, you check the harp here, and it tells you who it's done. Calamity was one of our former music devs. That's the rat tail that could possibly lead me into the pink tail. And that is my first objective done 40 minutes in. These seeds can either be really fast or really slow. There's kind of no in between for them. And the nice thing is I'm also at 9 key items, meaning I am 1 key item away from what they call double experience. Once you hit 10 key items, it allows your characters to get twice the amount of XP from your checks as what you normally would get. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people really like to aim for before they start really leveling their characters. The leveling part is not a big deal right now because I'm in areas that are kind of not much of a problem. The worst being the worst actually being now this Odin part, this Odin throne, which is underneath Baron. But I'm not going to be doing that fight until after I've completed the regular Baron areas, because being a K main check just means I'm going to have a higher chance of finding an item. Yeah, there's going to be times where Asuka and I will be running either the same ground as each other, or we may be running literally in lockstep. At that point, we have the option for our commentators to make comments about that, to shout out to, or to let your host talk about some of the other different incentives, some of the other races that are coming up, as well as squeeze in some donations, especially in fights like this, where it's just going to be quick down and out, where we just talk and just like, yep, and he's gone. As you've seen, like with that, the music check, like I say, you blink and you miss it sometimes. There are the options of some bosses not needing to be that difficult. Another meme we have is Rubicante here, who likes to show off his legs. When we ask for is it leg or is it quarter leg, this is kind of what we're talking about. But unfortunately, no leg today. And Rosa's very happy about that. Look at her cheer. Do I replace Sid with a new anchor? Nope. I could actually and just keep Palin knocked down. Yeah. So I don't really need Sid anymore. He was good for what he was doing, but I'm at the point where I am basically just needing to find the pink tail, and then I go do my white spear altar. Another little fun thing is we have different sprites that protect us from the walls closing in that in the vanilla game would try and kill your characters. So that's a fun little Easter egg. Come on, pigtail. Just an apple. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and kind of hope that this rat tail... So rat tail can be, again, anything. The only gating key item... Actually, yeah. There are the possibility of this being anything because the only gating key items areas that are left are... Okay, so that is an adamant rock, not an adamant armor. That gives you half a... Actually, that's another vanilla item. In the vanilla game, that would give you half to forge your legend sword that you get, which I don't have, into an Excalibur, meaning that Cecil would have the weapon that he's currently using. It's very cute, especially when you're at spots like this. You're like, oh, look at that. Yeah. Edge himself utilizing very base weaponry doesn't really matter. His damage, as you see, all of his damage is going to be coming from shooting out those Excaliburs. And yeah, this is where we're getting to the point where we're running a little bit low on checks. So it's going to be very obvious where my next areas are going to be. I could go right to the moon, and I could go check a very cheeky location, but I have to do stuff on the blue planet anyways. That's nothing really scary. Thank you. So this is not a scary boss because these Cecils do a lot of damage to these dragons, especially my Berserk one. This is gonna hurt. Now we're in a very scary spot. Never mind. They're just dead. Yeah, what I'm looking for here, again, is specifically the pink tail. So, there's another... There's another fun little thing that we like to add in. Oh, it's the Barren Basement. Oh, okay. I had the wrong objective. I was still going to come here anyways, so that's good. The big thing we're looking for is now, as I mentioned, this pink tail. I'm not going to go turn in the Excalibur. I've already got like 80 of them still in my inventory. So this leads me to believe that it is in one of two places. I'm going to do what's called leaving a safety save here, or a check here, to make sure that I'm going to be in the right spot. If Luca Cave comes up with no key item, all I really lose is about 2 minutes going and checking this out. If I have to walk out, it's going to be very unfortunate. But there is always the option where I could just like have to leave anyways. The fact that I'm also at 10 key items means that I can kind of grab a couple more levels and my Cecils will be doing more damage. That's a rope that yeah, if you are very close to those edges, that just sucks you right down, which is a little unfortunate, but it's what happens. I am notorious for hitting those ropes. Yeah. The estimate, again, as I mentioned, is going to be about a 1 hour, 20-minute timer. As you see with me so close to finishing, this could go on for another 35 minutes. This could go on for 20 minutes. This could go on for 10 minutes more. It depends on what I find and what is here. The bosses in this game are either going to be very rude or they're going to be very simple. And it's really nice when they are simple and they don't really give you much of a complication. For what's left, there's not much that's scary in this location. There's a few things that are scary here, but not really anything I want to talk about. Pinktail? No, that's just a spoon. Normally good for characters not in my party. Yeah, this is where we now are very clearly at one of two locations. It is going to be here at the top of tower that requires my objectives to go through, or it is going to be at the one spot on the moon that I need to go to. Or it's in the pan that I completely forgot about. But I'm here now. And see, and this is another thing. There's very clear objectives that can be nice and easy to do. And then there's objectives that you forget about because you think, hey, this should be no problem. This is going to be nice and easy. And you forget about it later. That's the big thing. And this is another set of bosses that are just like, I'm not even going to worry about. I'm just going to throw some hourglasses on and tell them, please leave. The free bosses being where they are is kind of a blessing. They've been in some of the more annoying places. This is a spot that normally has a lot of HP and can be a very big problem, but as we see here, they kind of just say, coffins just say, hey, you guys get to kind of go away. Still a lot of experience, good amount of levels. Oh, okay, so that's the sand ruby though. That means that either my pan is required or my Cave Bahamut is required. And I'm going to think that maybe... I'm more inclined to believe that the pan is going to be my option. The sand ruby there, all it was just another character check, which I don't really care too much about. Unless you are Pinktail, turn this in. Murasame, not a bad weapon for Edge, if he was ever going to be attacking, but he's not going to. When it comes to the Zeromus fight, he's going to be doing one thing and one thing only, and it is take those X-Cals and shove it very unpleasantly at Zoromas. In fact, that's kind of what my entire party is going to be doing, is taking these Excals and being very, very unhappy with a specific Cloudy Spike. This is exactly either Pinktail or Tower Key, since I know where the... since I know where the pan is, or since I know where the spoon is. That means that K value has what I need. The nice thing is if you ever get lost, there is Rose's mother in Baron, a specific NPC where if you need to know what you can do next, she will tell you. If you ever forgotten a key item or if you are unsure, that is an option. And it's kind of where I'm thinking, like, that means that... No, I've missed another location. What have I missed? Because I'm still missing Tower Key and I'm missing Package. I know where I've missed. Okay. So this is another thing where it's you have to remember where you've been and what you haven't done. I think I haven't done Antlion. I am very for certain that I have not checked a very early location. I do not remember doing Antlion. Yep. So this is something that can kind of bite runners every once in a while, where they think they've done a check, and they really haven't. And that's how I know I haven't done this. That is one of those chests that I open all the time, just because it's a very cheeky find. This boss is about to have a very bad time. Poor Yang. That is about 12 times the HP that's here. Probably closer to just over 10. So, I am basically done with the sea now. This is what happens when you forget certain locations. And yeah, this is so Asuka has told me the time that she had. That's why we went with the time of 1 hour 20 minutes. These seeds can be very, very fast if the right conditions are met, and for the most part these conditions are very easy to make. That is just the adamant armor. That's the pink tail traded away. Now I just need to go and do one more item, one more thing, and then we can go fight our final boss and yeah, have a good time. Also, doing what I did and forgetting about a boss location, that happens all the time, and it's what we like to call... We generally... If there are runners who do certain things like that overthrow the community, we kind of name it after them. The fading of Antlion Cave is something we like to call the PK4787 special. He is very much known for not fighting that boss location and kind of just going and saying, hey, I'm gonna go run towards the end of things. But yeah, with what I have left for a team, and with everything that is available, my entire plan is now kind of just like... And I've actually forgotten we have a flag where it's like the character on the moon does not come on. And I'm not used to seeing him anymore. But yeah, it's... Oh, it's my favorite character. You know what? We're going to take him. We're going to take him, because right now I just need an anchor and it doesn't matter who it is. Panacea. Ooh, I like that palette too. So, Kayn, normally not a character you take as an anchor because he's kind of there to do your DPS with Cecil. The White Spears would have been perfect for him earlier on if I had come up immediately and grabbed him, but unfortunately Kayn gets to kind of just take a dirt nap. He has one specific purpose now, and that is for him to kind of just... Something we called anchoring, as I mentioned, is your main character, your character in the middle slot for this specific flag set. There are ways you can change it. Dictates how fast your other characters go. You've seen sometimes where I have Edge in the middle, and you've seen sometimes where I have Palom or a low agility character in the middle. What the agility does is if you have a slower character in the middle, the other characters on the outer sides get more turns. But if you're at a point where you can outspeed the boss, you can kind of just go with a high agility anchor and just not even think about the way your anchoring situation is, basically where you hold down your speed from. But yeah, this is where I am now here to fight two specific locations, one of which being the last White Spear altar, the other being Zoromas himself, and then that'll be the end of it. As we'd be going through, again, this would be a perfect time for donations for the rundown, because this is about a 3-minute walk. And then, yeah, we would be going on and seeing the bid war for the Sprite. If that's something that was to be done, there's that possibility of incentive, but also there's just the ability to just go through and have a specific Sprite for, as I mentioned, for the marathon. This is the wrong spot. So this is a fight that is going to be very slow because, well, actually they're doing a fair amount of damage. Normally this boss actually takes, so what I'm doing here is I'm killing off Kayn so he doesn't gain any more agility than what necessary, so that my characters can still remain what's known as RA1, or where they just will do a lot more, will they be very much faster than him. And that is going to be my crystal and my last item here. I was going to the right spot originally. Well, so Bahamut is not a scary boss normally. All he does is he counts down and then he I'm gonna do this just to be safe. the problem is we are in a spot with a lot of HP. Let's do this. Yeah, normally not even really worried. But it's also a spot where we gain a lot of levels and a lot of experience, and my characters are now ready to fight Zeromus. As well as, you know, actually doing the last objective properly. Yeah, we have trackers that we can utilize here as well. You see this is one that is an option. That is one that is made by a couple of different people in our community. There is the actual tracker, like there's our 2v2 trackers, 1v1 trackers, so there's different layouts that we can utilize to show this off. And yeah. So this would be about the time where if we were in the community, they would be showing off some flags with a Z on them, and we'd be like, hey, what are we going to go fight? Talking about how Zeromus is one of the part of the randomizer that we don't really randomize, we leave him alone. And as my co-racer would say, no questions, no memes, just something, but. Because the real meme, and the real thing we say is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? There's a whole bunch of other things people like to say, but I'm a big fan of, as I said, vanilla, and the whole basic of whose butt are we going to kick, and it is not going to be very long for the world considering the team we have here. You're looking at a very overpowered set of people who just will not give a heck about, or a fluff about what they're about to fight. So we take a team that is mostly the vanilla one. We had kept that Rydia, it would have been completely vanilla, but I'm a huge fan of Double Cecil. So now what happens here is we have Kayn. He's going to throw off a... going to throw the crystal. If I can find it. Yep, there it is. We're going to berserk him. Yeah, the whole part of this fight now is we are going to be doing a heaping heckin' amount of damage and just kind of go through the motions of fighting him. He's going to have a lot of HP. He's going to transform. I don't specifically know where the sprite is from, but I kind of like it. Silk Web. But yeah, this is why I say we're not gonna have a long Zeromus fight. The only scary thing is I don't really have Cure 3s. That's fine. That poor Cecil might die. Yeah, this is where the Cecils kind of get to do Cecil things with the Excalibur, where they do a lot of damage. Yeah, and the Adamant Armor kind of showing off why it is the best armor in this game. Normally those would be taking about 800-ish damage, if not more. This is a fight where we're now at like a bit of a delicate balance. Normally, you're looking at a fight that it's like, hey, I need to do just enough damage to keep getting me through this, while also keep my party healed up. This party is super overpowered for this. We see both Cecils doing as much damage as what that Edge is darting for. The whole point about this is you need to keep them topped up, because if I eat another counter nuke into if that Cecil eats another counter nuke into a Big Bang, which I highly doubt we will, because Zeromus is very scripted. The Shake resets the magic power. The only thing that's scary now is if Rosa takes the counter nuke into a Big Bang. But I'm already on rocks, so it doesn't matter. two characters even straight up dodge. And this is where we'd be getting ready to call time. Counter nuke. Not a big deal. That Cecil did his job. Oh, he's still alive. And who's going to get the last hit? Edge, go! And that would be it. That'd be the time. That'd be the end of the race. We'd get our GGs out. Zeromus is defeated. And that would be it. At that point, we'd be waiting for... either waiting for me to be finishing or waiting for my co-racer. Asuka actually finished the seed at 1 hour and 3 minutes, so I'm about 6 minutes behind her. Again, she's a fantastic racer, and very glad that she wanted to pick me for doing this SMS variant, as we call it, Supermarket Sweep variant. Yeah, the reason why it's called Supermarket Sweep is based off of the old television show where everything was free, and you made yourself, you just bought whatever you needed. But yes, again, thank you very much for watching this submission and for considering this. I really hope that you allow us to demonstrate and show off some of the new things that Free Enterprise has gained throughout the last few years. My name is Dathus. You can find me at twitch.tv/Dathus. I also, again, am one of the restreamers who shows for Free Enterprise, which is twitch.tv/Free Enterprise, Free Enterprise 2, and Free Enterprise 3, as we now have our tournament going on. Again, thank you very much. My co-racer will be Asuka424, twitch.tv/Asuka424, and I'm excited to be able to possibly run this for you guys. Again, once you defeat Zeromus, what it does is then you get to get this lovely the credits scene, which is going to come up, and you're going to be given a little tip of how many treasure chests you opened, how long in-game time it took you. It took me a little bit longer because I took a couple of resets, so my time's not going to jive out. Also, how many treasure chests you open. Usually in Supermarket Sweep, you only open one, which is the treasure chest in the Feymarch, where those summons were. I like to open other treasure chests because that's just me. I'm a loot goblin. But yeah, you guys have been fantastic for letting me do this. Yeah, see, it shows it was in under an hour, so I lost about 10 minutes somewhere just through resets. Yeah. It also shows the amount of key items, the amount of bosses you fought, which characters you found, and how many characters could be in the seed. I opened way more treasure chests than I needed to, and yeah, I fought a couple more bosses because those are the ones we didn't see. Yeah, and then this will go through and show where all the key items are, but we know where pretty much all of them are except for the tower. Well, actually, we know where the package is, which is going to be right here. And the tower key is going to be coming from what we call Cave Value or Cave Bahamut. Again, thank you very much. My name has been Dathus, and you guys have yourselves a wonderful evening. And thank you very much again.